We've been anxiously awaiting for Two Worlds 2. The original was a cult hit on the PC, but most would agree that the port on the Xbox 360 was nothing short of a nightmare. Reality Pump, Topware Interactive, and South Peak Games have been assuring everyone that they have learned their lesson and that Two Worlds 2 would be a much more refined experience than the original. Thankfully, they're right. Two Worlds 2 is an absolutely solid RPG, and role-playing fans shouldn't hesitate to give it a try, but even it is not without its faults. Two Worlds 2 takes place on several small islands and sets you on a quest to rescue your sister from the evil clutches of Gandahar. The storyline is typical fare for a role-playing game, but it's enough to keep you motivated and pushing you forward. It gives you enough reason to roam the countryside, looking like a badass, vanquishing evil, and finding treasure. Two Worlds 2 offers plenty of those things. Two Worlds 2 might be the new reigning champion RPG for best atmosphere, best armor, and best weapons, and it certainly wins the award for the magic system with the largest combination of spells. Atmospherically, Two Worlds 2 takes you from gorgeous beaches to savannas, to thick jungles, to crowded cities, and of course to the dark and unspeakably evil corners of the planet. While you explore this tiny Earth, you'll be dazzled by the dynamic lighting system the game offers. It makes the dark places feel darker and the light places lighter, but sometimes the bloom effect is a bit overdone. And while you're out killing ostriches, gargoyles, or whatever is haunting you, you'll find that the musical score is absolutely amazing. Action in the game is divided into melee, magic, and ranged combat. However, there are some moments where stealth does come into play. Melee is hack and slash with one button, but occasionally hashed with recharging special abilities. While one-button combat may sound boring, enemies tend to outnumber you, in which you'll either have to quickly drink a health potion or change your fighting tactic to something else. Magic is easily the deepest of the three fighting styles, as you can mix and match your spells to suit your curiosities using a simple card system. Experimentation is key with magic. You never know what you'll end up liking. You can have magic deal direct damage, or you can get creative with your cards and have a spell seek your enemy like a homing beacon, and when it makes contact, ricochet off of him and then seek out the next nearest enemy. It's a wonderful system, and even after putting dozens of hours into the game, we were still tinkering with what spells we could put together. Archery is a bit of a mix of the two, but easily the least developed. It doesn't start to get interesting until the much later levels of ranged combat, but for the most part, we found that melee and magic to be the most rewarding of the skill types. Changing fighting tactics can be done with the touch of the D-pad as you assign any combat style and its armor to the up, left, and right buttons. Blunt weapons aren't working? Quickly switch to your sword. Physical attacks not doing enough damage? Change to your mage configuration. It's a brilliant system that makes you feel like you're developing more than one character at a time. For people who don't want to game alone, you can take Two Worlds 2 online in either deathmatch play, or you can partake in small instances. The smaller instances are just like missions from the main game, but they take place on much smaller islands where you and your friends can get together. Sadly, you cannot port your character over from the main game, and while it doesn't have the depth of a full-fledged MMO, it should scratch the itches of some friends who want to get in some monster slaying action, and all for the low price of a $0 monthly fee. While we have plenty of wonderful things to say about Two Worlds 2, it's not all sunshine and lollipops. The dialogue scenes can sometimes take painfully long. Most voice actors in the game speak in a boring, monotone voice. Luckily, the quest log seems to sum everything up that you need to know if you decide to skip through a few conversations. While the human models look wonderful, their speaking animations can be stiff and lifeless, like marionettes with poor joints. The enemy AI can also be remarkably stupid. Sometimes they'll stop entirely in their tracks when chasing you, and then not even fight back as you wail away on them with your axe. They often get stuck in strange places, which will also allow you to exploit their stupidity. But if zombies have taught us anything, it's that dumb enemies, even in large numbers, can be a nuisance. But still, we really wish they weren't so dumb. There is plenty of pop-in with the game when loading into a new area. It's not game-breakingly bad, and installing the game onto your Xbox 360's hard drive definitely cuts down on the amount of pop-in you see, but it's still worth noting. Finally, while some animal models are outstanding, like this fear-inducing spider, or these gargoyles, or this thing, there are other models that are just terrible. The rock-throwing baboons, at least we hope they're throwing rocks, and the horses are the worst offenders. Luckily, you aren't forced to spend too much time on horses, and thanks to the game's teleportation system, there's little need to use them at all. All in all, we're satisfied with the way Two Worlds 2 turned out. It's beautiful, it sounds amazing, it's genuinely addictive, and we get to kill dinosaurs. Some of the game's glitches, like the poor AI, might be game breakers for some people, so we recommend trying it out before you buy it if you're still on the fence. No, it's not the finest RPG of all time. If you're a Western RPG fan and you know who you all are, Two Worlds 2 should definitely be on your radar. The more you put into Two Worlds 2, the more you get out of it. And if you'll excuse us, we have more demons to kill.
Lo, wayfarer, pray tell whence forth comest thou? What bringeth thee hereabout?
I have no idea what you just said to me.
Thou art a gallant wanderer, methinks. So speaketh thy mind, as doth thy apparel, I faith. A noble warrior thou art, methinketh it according to reason. Wouldst thou be seeking venture and fortune, mayhap?
Did somebody hit you?
'Twas with but one gaze at thee that cried I, he be the knight that ye seek in thy wanyon, assuredly. Be not his potency non-peril. Will he don thoness, O mine, ere long? Will he on prize, mayhap?
Who talks like that?